I'm really excited. This is our 4th year for this luncheon. This has become a really special event for me personally and Brooke. I look out in this room and I see nothing but good. And we can't thank you enough. We're so humbled and grateful for the number of friendships that have come out of starting Judi's House. Judi was my mom. She died when I was 12. And that sentence still gets me every time. It was the hardest thing I've ever had to do in my life, to go through that. It was like I was the only 12-year-old boy in the world that had just lost his mom. And when I came to Denver, was drafted by the Denver Broncos, I knew that I wanted to use that platform to give back to those kids that were going through the same thing that I went through. And we started with a group of 15 kids, and now 16 years later, here we are.
During my time as a Judi's House volunteer, I've witnessed breakthroughs from children I thought might not learn how to grieve in a healthy manner. I've seen many grieving children grow to become highly functional young adults fueled by the skills they learned at 1600 St. Paul and 1741 Gaylord. I am so proud of the work our board, staff, and volunteers do on a daily basis, and I'm privileged to work with such wonderful families. I thank Brian and Brooke for this incredible honor, but more importantly, I am grateful to them for providing a place where I can continue to heal. Thank you.
We are going to do a football toss. We wanted to have a day of goal of supporting 100 kids and 20 families. We have football signed by the 2-time Super Bowl champion, Mike Shanahan, who is integrally responsible for Judi's House being in our community. So believe it or not, none of this happens today if Mike Shanahan doesn't draft me to the Broncos. So anybody that wants to sponsor a family or a number of families, raise your hand, come up here to the side of the stage, and we will throw out the footballs.
I hope you saw that 1 out of 15 children will lose a parent or sibling before the age of 18, that 10% of our youth in Colorado will lose a parent or sibling before the age of 25. That's staggering to me, and I'm so glad you're all here. This is so hopeful to me to see that this many people care about this issue, because as the only comprehensive bereavement center locally devoted to providing research-based care for grieving children and families, we're doing our part to address what truly is a critical public health issue, and we're grateful that you are also doing your part by being here.
I literally went through all of junior high and high school thinking I was the only kid that didn't have 2 parents, which I'm sure wasn't even true, but I don't even know. And so the number one is just not to grieve alone, and that's the number one thing that Judi's House provides with. And the JAG Institute and the work that Brooke has instituted is so important because it actually now can go beyond the walls of Judi's House and provide some sort of clinical basis for people to deal with grief.
We as adults know that tragedy happens, things happen, and we know that life shifts. You know, that eventually we'll get through that. But as a child, you don't know that, and you have this deep dread and sense that life will always continue in that way. So the fact that you provide a safe space for children especially, but even adults and parents and families to deal with grief and the devastation of grief is so profound to me.
So after everything you've been through in your life, right, so many different tragedies, the last name that you have, the legacy of your family, what is it that you ultimately want to be remembered for?
If I were to leave something behind me, I would want to know that my children had a deep understanding of where they came from and that their choices in their life could be different.
Your story is one of tremendous resilience, and we can't thank you enough for coming and being a part of this today. Thank you for sharing your story.
Well, thank you. Thank you all for having me.
And if we have an update from Courtney.
112 children and 29 families. We met our goal, people.
Wow, that
Thank
is
you so
phenomenal. Thank you so much.